Hi, and welcome. Now, I'm trying to be very calm and very serene, as that's what this show's all about. But if you only knew the mayhem that has been going on for the last 41 minutes, but that's for another story. So, tonight, welcome to the Way of Conscious Mindfulness, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel which discusses spirituality and science, balancing mind, body, and spirit with health and well-being. Twist. The Tao means the way, the path, the flow. We are not the normal talk show. Boy, am I right on that one. And each week we either have a subject or a wonderful guest. We have a beautiful guest waiting for you in the wings, waiting for us to shut up and get on with the show. So, each week, the aim of the show is to have an open discussion and to find new skills, new ways, new techniques to balance our own personal Tao, our own personal way. Now, we always have some co-hosts. We are full of co-hosts today, and those co-hosts are full of it. Or maybe that's just me. But, so, I will firstly introduce... I've got to do it. I will firstly introduce my soul brother from another mother. The great, the mighty, the awesome Robbie Do. Robbie Do, hi!
Hey! Hey! Nice to be here.
It's yes. Yes, it is. Yes. It's been fun, and we've not even started yet. So I will. How are you, Robbie? Very quickly.
I am grand. I am grand. Nice to be. Nice. It feels like I'm coming back because I've not been on for a few weeks, you know, and I've not really been able to. But yeah, it's really nice to be here. Really excited about Robbie's show. Really excited. It's nice to have Fred, Marilyn. Fantastic. Good to see you. Good to see you, Boggie, as well. Yeah.
I know.
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, yeah, it's all right seeing you, mate. As well. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, Robbie. Oh, you know, it is a good show. It is such a good show. Once I've done my question, I may sort of disappear a little bit. I will be booting the show back out again and making sure everybody can find the link. So we'll bring in the next co-host. So the next co-host is a friend, is a student, as well as being my sifu. It is the mighty, the mystical, the awesome, the Backman. It's Fred, the Backman Bleach. Good evening, Fred. How are you?
Good evening, Super Son. It's a pleasure to be here again. It's lovely to be on the show. It looks like it'll be a very interesting show from what I've seen so far. And looking forward to what we're going to be discussing as we go through this. And sure. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah, always, never a problem. Right, so then the next co-host, the final co-host for this evening, the beautiful, the lovely, the gorgeous, the amazing. It is Agent 35. It is the wonderful Madeline Devonish. Good evening, Madeline. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, good evening. I am fabulous. Thank you very much. How are you?
I am well. I am very well. We've already had our own show, and this is we've had the green room warm up, and now it's the show. It's now to get down into business.
Absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. So let's get on with the show.
Indeed, let's get on. And now I've got. Because of Robbie too, I've got the Muppet Show going in my head now. This is a calm, serene, spiritual show. So this show is all about the guest, and the guest is the beautiful, the lovely Roberta Godson. So this is the Way of Roberta Godson. So good evening, Roberta. How are you?
Good evening, and I'm fine. And thank you for having me on your show. I've enjoyed myself already.
I know. Well, yeah, we were enjoying ourselves yesterday, just trying to get you on the show. So, we spent about 3 hours trying to sort out all the technical difficulties, and then we had our own show, our own little chin wag then. So no, it's been really cool. So I mean, I haven't even said what you do yet. I mean, it's a total mystery to any guest sort of coming on with if they haven't read the little info. So, Roberta, you are the first guest who is actually a fan of the show, which is pretty cool, which is very cool. In fact,
lightsaber.
Lightsaber, or always know where your lightsaber is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and your warhammer. Oh. just in case you need a hammer, always know where it is.
Yeah.
So, right. Anyway, so the first question, the ultimate question, the question that has terrified some guests in the past, I must say.
Oh.
But the question is a simple one of sorts. Is the show is The Way Of Roberta Godson. So, Roberta, Robbie too, what is your way? What is your Tao?
Right, my way is I channel information from the Great White Brotherhood and Sisterhood. White meaning the halo. They're also known as the masters of the ancient wisdom, who are the hierarchy, who serve Earth. They serve Earth. And I channeled the information into, if you see it, a safe way to heaven. And a safe way to heaven means to help people on their path of ascension. So I'll put that one down. The Ascended Masters are a group of cosmic beings, along with the angels and archangels. They, the Ascended Masters, were once in our position, and they know, everything that we're going through. So, as I say, they wish to help us to attain ascension as well. I mainly channel Ascended Master Hilarion, but I also, in sleep time, consciously connect with the fifth ray of what is known, we call it the heavenly realm. Because Ascended Master is the Chohan, which means Lord of the fifth ray, which is also the green ray of wisdom, healing, teachings. As I said healing. And also, I scribe information from other Ascended Masters such as Jesus, Buddha, Saint Germain, and just recently Kuan Yin. So it's been exciting. So I'd like questions, because there's so much information, I really wouldn't know where to start.
Well, okay. I mean, well, firstly, we will at some point. Kuan Yin obviously is well. She's both a Buddhist priestess, and a Buddhist goddess and a Daoist priestess.
And the Chinese, they follow her, don't they? Yeah.
Right. Well, both because in China it's a mixture of Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, and
Mother
so
of compassion.
Yeah, very much so. And she's in Taoism. She's known as one of the female Taoist immortals. So she is a little bit like in the West. You have I think it was Saint David, who was the Star of David, is supposed to be, which is the Merkaba. Yeah. If I remember rightly, in the Bible, he was the one that ascended to heaven while still alive. He was the first saint, I think the only saint that actually ascended to heaven while still alive. Now, she is said to have done the same thing, is that she was the first woman in Chinese Taoism to actually become immortal without dying. So there's this thing where like the body dies and then they sort of appear in a rainbow body, especially in Tibet Buddhism. They talk about the rainbow body, and they transform from death into life. But there is this philosophy that you can immortalize if you increase all your energies, the chakras, the Merkaba, the five spirits, as they're known, which is meridian chakras, Merkaba, Dantian, Aura, and then if you can activate all them, you can actually immortalize yourself while still alive. And Kuan Yin is one who did that. So that's more of a statement than a question. But did you get? I'll do another first question. How did you get into this?
Right. Well, Robbie Mackenzie. Ha 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 ha. What happened was when I first started on this spiritual path, which was 20 years ago, I learned Reiki and I became a Reiki master and I taught Reiki. And I was successful for several years. But then through certain stresses and ill health, my husband died and certain things, I was quite poorly. And so I was out of it for a little while. When I got well once more, and I was again picking up from my higher self quite strongly, in a conversation, I was saying, I'd love to meet someone who can help me with this information you're giving me. So I rang a few mediums, and although they were lovely and you know, we talked about a lot of things, they couldn't help me move on. And I felt a little bit frustrated. But then I met Robbie McKenzie. And I would say to him, you know, I've got this piece of information, and he would help me. And I was also struggling. I was struggling at that time with certain emotions. You know how we've all got to deal with the fear emotions. I was struggling with the fear of actually. I still had certain health problems, which I do today, and I was struggling with the fear aspect of that and different things. And I met Robbie McKenzie, of course, over the phone, and he helped me on my spiritual journey. And he explained to me about the Merkaba, and I got his books alongside with my higher self and Robbie's guidance and the books. Wow. I mean, it just happened quickly. I just went and opened up my Merkaba. And what happened was, can I tell you the story how Hilarion came into my life? Yep. Well, I got a pelvis injury, and I normally, through meditation and healing, can cope with it. But this one day, and I was feeling quite upset. And I was doing all this work, praying to the Ascended Masters, doing everything I could to better myself, and opening my Merkaba, and I hadn't heard from anyone specific, and I was hoping to. And I've actually got a big hallway and a window at the top, and it's just how I was feeling. And I just shouted up, "Where are you? You're supposed to be beings of love and light, and you know, I'm struggling here. And I need help." And I mean, I did. I had tears. I went into the lounge and I was crying with the pain, because I'm not very good on painkillers. You know what it's like when you cleanse your body. They don't suit. So I'm not good on painkillers. And anyway, that I thought to myself, if nothing happens, I just had to do that. I just had to clear how I was feeling. And that night I went to bed and I was quite settled. And I always do healing at bedtime. Meditation healing, and you know what I mean by when I say you're off consciously to another place. And the Ascended Master Hilarion came, and he asked me where the pain was, and I showed him the main pain at the bottom of my back. And he said, "You will heal, Roberta, but it would take time. You're going to go on this pathway now of learning." Because it is a pathway of, you know, you've heard this saying, healer, heal thyself. And that's a pathway I'm on. And learning and sharing it with others. And I'm loving it.
And it's been my pleasure to help you, Robbie. You've come an awful long way, and you've really opened up your energy system, and you're helping an awful lot of people. And I loved your book. Like, you know, I always, like, of course you help people with their books, you know, if they're moving forward and making that effort to help people, of course, the service. But I actually couldn't put your book down. I read it in one night, you know, so, and it was lovely to read about how you'd moved yourself forward. I mean, I knew you anyway, but you know, it was really good to see that journey, and you're still moving forward, and you're still opening up, and the way that you have transcended a lot emotionally and mentally, and overcome things, and a lot of different stuff. You've done really well, you know. And you are helping people. You are helping people, and it's an absolute pleasure to be of service to you. And I'm glad to have you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah. Does anybody else have a question, perhaps? Marilyn?
Go for it, Marilyn.
Yeah, so one of the, you know, I'm really interested. Now, your book had the word heaven in it. So when you're working, are you working with people who want to connect with somebody who's on the other side? or are you working more, or how would you explain the work that you do?
Right.
If somebody were coming to you, what would they come to you for, and what could they expect in terms of services and what you do?
Yeah. What a safe way to heaven means, if you were to read the book and the introduction, it means your heaven on earth, your ascension. That's what it is. It doesn't mean going to heaven. It means ascension, and you can create your heaven on earth. Although that the world might not change altogether, you create a place where you are in peace. As you know, you've got that joy, you've got that love for everybody. I mean, I want to tell everybody I love them. Of course I won't, because I think I'm, ooh, but that's how you feel when you open up to this work, when you open your macabre. And I mean, my partner said to me, don't keep telling everybody you love them on your you know, on the posts I do. I said, I love them, I'm going to say I love them. That's me, that's where I am. I don't mind saying it on a post, but of course what I'm saying is I can't say it to everybody I meet, although you feel that, don't you, in your heart? When you open your heart up, it's a oh gosh, there's no words actually, is there? So the book is trying to help people see they do have power. They're not hopeless and helpless. That Hilarion explains that he tries to reach out to everybody, religious people and even people that don't believe at all. And he explains in the book, you know, how in religion they call you a sinner. And he tries to explain they mean the ego side of the human. But you're also that beautiful being of light, that snowflake, which is individual and connected to the ascended masters, the higher octaves, which people, well, a lot of people call heaven. So he actually named it that. I asked him, you know, what would you like the book to be called? And that was his. Have I explained enough, or?
Oh, absolutely. No, that's absolutely perfect. And I'm doubly smiling because the session I did today with the client who sees the world as 75% ugly and 25% beautiful. So I'm thinking it might be very nice for me to buy her a copy of the book and gift it to her.
Oh, thank you.
Once we've completed the work, she also then has another aspect of that as well. So no, that answers it perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. I mean, right. I think I'm talking. Yes, I am talking. And the microphone's on. So, yes, I just wanted to say, I mean, okay, I'm intrigued because I find this really, really cool because of the fact, you know, is you've got in Taoism they talk about monkey mind and Buddha thought or Daoist thought, and they sit on your shoulder, which funny, you know, in the old cartoons back in the 40s and then in through the movies, they, you know, you've got everyone on one shoulder and you've got the angel on the other. And it's awesome to hear you say, you know, like, you know, the sinner is this thing that sits on your soul, you know, the darkness, the evil. It's part of you, it's part of your you know, like for Star Wars nuts like myself, the dark and the light side are the same sides. Where's the hammer? You know, the dark side. There you go. The dark side and the light side. And you're in the middle. That's you in the middle. You know, you exist, and so you know you can have a great day and it can be like heaven, or you can have a bad day and it can be like hell. And you know, it's great to hear that from somebody. You know, it's great to hear it from somebody totally different to myself, and so coming from a totally different point of view. But it's great to hear that information. Now, I just want my question of sorts is you mentioned. There was on the spirit realm, there's a layer, or there's a dimension of the spirit realm that we normally perceive as heaven. Is that, can you sort of go into that a little bit more for me?
Well, so far, as I say, I call myself a student because I'm learning. They call me an initiate because I had a baptism and I was initiated into that group of the Ascended Masters. But as I say, I see myself as a student and I'm learning. How I have perceived it is, you know, the universe has rainbow colour and It's music as well, tones. Well, as I see heaven is, there are 7 main layers which are different colours, and they call them the different rays. So I've got the rays in the book. I can't remember the Chohan of every ray. I know Jesus is the Chohan Lord of the 6th ray with Lady Master Nada. I remember that one. There's so many Ascended Masters, and they've all got a colour. And that also is connected to our chakras, our aura. We have those rainbow colours too. Now, the 8th ray, the Chohan there, he actually is the one that blends everything together. And that is the higher octaves, what we call heaven. And that's the way I can explain it at the moment, until I learn any more, if there is anything else. But that's the way at the moment. And I seem to be connected with Ascending Master Hilarion, because I seem to be connected to the green ray for some reason.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, the eighth ray is always the interesting one, because obviously turn an 8 on its side, and it's the Egyptian sign for immortality.
Yeah.
And 8, funny enough, 8 is a very important number in the Daoist circle, and because it is the immortal number, the immortal way. So yeah, that's very cool. Anybody else got a question? Anybody else would like to ask something? Fred. Okay, they're not Fred. Marilyn, Agent 35.
Okay, so wow. With regards to the heaven on earth and connecting in with the ascended masters, you mentioned about the kind of the initiation side of it. Would you say in your experience that it's something that everyone, so let's say you've got people watching, this might be the first time they're even hearing about all of the rays and the colors and the way that it works. Is it an energy that anybody can connect in with, or is it that you get initiated into that? Right.
What happens is we're all connected, but if you can imagine that some of the connections are a bit murky, they just need cleaning up. But we are all connected to an ascended master, and they all work together in harmony and peace, and that's what they wish for us. They would like to end the division of all the religions, you know, how, and you know, nothing against it. I was brought up Christian, and I still go the way of Jesus Christ when I pray, and because I'm used to that. But I also love Buddha, Kuan Yin. I love them all, and as I say, they all work together, and they wish us to. And this is what they'd like to help people to see, that it isn't you choose Jesus or you choose Buddha. You know, have them all. Why not learn about them all and enjoy it? And what he said to me is the Buddhists really have the right way, because they do their individual work, the macabre and working on themselves, and they also come together and they celebrate together. Where sadly with religion, I don't know about all religions because I haven't studied them all, but I can say with the Church of England I went to, you're not taught about the macabre. You're not taught that you're a beautiful being of light, that you can attain this. If I've only heard that only Jesus can attain this. That's what I was brought up with, you see. And all of us are connected. And what did Jesus say? He said, did I not say ye are all children of the Most High? I mean, it's written in the Bible. So why can't people understand that they're connected? They're the same. We're not separated.
I think there's an interesting thing. Oh,
no, that's okay.
You go first.
So I was just going to say, I think it is with everybody that's opening up, like yourself, like Marlon, like Boggie, you know, like everybody, like Fred, everybody that's opening up just now, it's a more energetic experience that we're having. So the way that we've been thinking is less as important as the energy that we are emanating, you know. And I think that all of these words are important, these books are important, all these different opinions are important, but they're just a tool. They're just a tool to unlock your unconditional love. You know, even all of these characters that are wonderful, they're all different in different traditions, they're all different spirits that are all wonderful. They are all leading towards the same place, that everybody opens up to that place. And the more energetically you open up, the more energetically Marilyn opens up, Boggie opens up, Fred opens up, I open up myself. The more you make yourself that divine energy, the more they use you, no matter what filter system. If you've got a filter system that is Christian, that's going to come through that way, or if it's Buddhist or whatever it is that your tradition is, you know. But I think it's more important energetically the love that's emanated than it is the opinion. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what you're basically saying. You know, it's like everybody matters. We all just love them all, and you're seen as. You think that you're seen as nuts. Well, I'm a bit nuts because I love everybody, but well, I'd rather be nuts than do what everybody's doing just now. And it feels better, and it's more healing as well. Because I think the journey that you've been on for healing, for just physical healing, but not just emotional and mental healing, that's very important. But the 4-body system coming together, which heals your physical body as well.
And the more you love, and the more you love. Yeah, the more you heal, don't you, Robbie?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was just going to, is it okay to say something, Emma?
Of course, it's your show.
It's your show, exactly.
In the book, there is a little bit of, it looks a little bit religious, but it's not. But he speaks to, the followers of Jesus Christ, the Christians, and to tell them that Jesus taught meditation. Jesus taught yoga, and all this was removed from the Bible. Yeah. I mean, I know many Christians that have been told to meditate is, how are you going to have your connection? Otherwise, if you don't have your connection, it's all just in the head. You're going to get nowhere.
Well, in prayer, prayer in Buddhism, it's just there.
Yeah,
you're connecting.
Yeah, you connect.
This is an antennae, and you're connecting to your heart, and you're firing it up to the heavens, to the heavens. And so I went on an interesting. Yes, I've done martial arts, but in the Daoist philosophy, martial arts, medical arts, and meditational arts, so the spirit, the universe, it's all interconnected. So my sifus said that when I was learning martial arts, they sent me to different martial artists, but they sent me to different healing practitioners. And there was a spate of 10 years that I was told it was a heavy instruction, which means you do it. And from my 2 sifus, and I went on a spiritual quest. I studied the Quran. I studied the Old Testament, the New Testament, but I've also studied the Old Testament from Hebrew. And I studied other things as well. Now, I mentioned the Hebrew because there's this really interesting thing in the Old Testament in English. I know I've got at least 2 people, if not more, who could correct me if I'm wrong. But in essence, it says man was made in the image of God. Now, in Hebrew, there is this real interesting. The Hebrew friend said it does not. When you translate it, it does not translate as that. And so, well, what do you mean? It says what it says is that that everything, the image of God. And he says, but it doesn't make sense. So I said, well, it depends from your point of view, because if everything is the image of God, everything is God. Everything is the connection of God. Everything is one, not just humans, but but this glass.
Everything.
Everything is made from God. God comes from everything. Now there was a priest I knew who went to the Vatican, and he came back, and the sort of things that he said he'd seen he always maintained that there was a Christ, a Bible of Christ. Christ actually wrote a book, but it was restricted because of certain things. And one of the things it encouraged, it said, you do not need to go to a church to find God.
No.
You do not need to spend hours praying to find God or to find me. I am you and you are me.
Yeah.
God is in your shadow. God is underneath the rock.
Everywhere.
And that's what, and so when you start hearing things like that, and then and you see that through, there's this really interesting thing for me I found, is that with all religions, when you go to their core, they're all the same. It's only when you go further and further down the doctrines and down the sayers and the priests and the people that do all the talking, that it starts to change more and more. But when you go to the main core of every philosophy, every religion, it says the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of my ranting. Somebody else.
Totally agree. It's exactly the founders of all the religions are saying exactly the same thing, and it's within you. The kingdom of God is within you. The golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, because you are actually doing it to yourself anyway. You know, when you recognize that that is what your experience will be, the more love you give, the more love you will get back. And ascension really essentially is bringing all those truths. We talk about the new age, but the new age is really ancient philosophy being made manifest properly. That's all it is. Because all of the franchisee, the problem's been the franchisees instead of the main office. The franchisees, they've not been looking at the franchise book properly throughout the age. Do you know what I mean? And all the different franchises are going off making their own rules up, you know. And they need to get back to the original, which is we are all divine. Everybody's all divine. It's very simple. Love is all there is. And when you realize that as a concept that's not just an existential woo-woo, that's an actual real thing, when you open your Merkaba, you have that experience. And it has to be experiential. You know, it's like enlightenment, the twinkle of an eye, it can come in a moment. You know, it doesn't have to take 10,000 years, but it's about your application of the eternal truth. And that thread runs through all religions, no matter what they are. You know, so we are all one. There is nobody really having the way of conscious mindfulness. We're all just one thing talking to
it's the universe. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, we are talking to ourselves. No surprise there, then. So.
To me, it's like the universe became very bored and decided it was going to split itself into how many pieces and enjoy itself through all of us, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The ancient, there was one when I went on my little I went to different places. I went to China, went to Tibet, went to India once with my sifu, and there was this interesting. I got up to a certain point in Daoism, and my main focus was Daoism. But in what actually happened was the first place I heard it was actually in India, and India said there was this ancient culture, and this ancient culture, and then Tibet went to Tibet, and they talked about this ancient culture, and China talked about the ancient culture. And this ancient culture they talked about is that at one point all this information, at one point in time, they were all one. They were all one source, and they all came out. And what this information they talk about the meridians, chakras, all that, which I've mentioned before. But they also say that this ancient knowledge is that our souls are immortal. If you want to use the word soul, I prefer consciousness because soul is from the word breath, body and breath. So I prefer the consciousness, energy, the vibration. Now, all our consciousnesses are immortal. We started off at the beginning of the universe, whenever that was, and we'll go all the way to the end of it, and we'll pop in and out of lifetimes. And most of the time, we don't remember them, because when we come to the end of it, we say, okay, let's press erase. And then we erase that all until we get to a certain point. Now, in Daoism, if you've ever watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's actually mentioned within there, is that if you get to a level in your meditation, in your spiritual journey, in your Qigong, whatever you want to call it, you get to a certain level, it allows you to remember. And then your next life, that's part of the being immortal, is you can be immortal by, when you go into your next life, everything from your past, you instantly remember. Because their philosophy, all your deja vus, all your skills, any talents and skills that you have, all your like loves at first sight, they're all past connections. They're past, is your loves at first sight. It's just another life you met that person and you fell in love, you were married to them, or you had a strong connection, and then when you see that person, love at first sight it's that soul going, I remember you, I know you. And it's the same with your talents. Your talents, you spent another life practicing that for most of it, and then it becomes, so when you start crocheting or doing martial arts or knitting or skydiving, and within a few lessons you're getting really good, and they say, that's a natural talent. The ancient way says that is a hint, clue about past lives. And the whole point is that originally at one point in the past we knew this, we knew that we reincarnated, we knew that all is one, and we started at that playing field so we could grow so much more. Well, what happened at some point, we decided, or it was put on us, whichever way, it's all the same, but we went into the dark ages. We were closed off. We've closed off all this information. And so you grow up like when you're a kid, you talk to your imaginary friends. They're not imaginary friends. They're other beings. They're other connections. Fortunately, when my daughter was born, I had a partner at the time who we knew, she accepted that and knew that, and it was so for us, her Ketra's outer family would worry about her having imaginary friends. So no, it's fine, it's all good. Because to me, they're not imaginary. I could just about see them. I could see their energy. I mean, at 12 years old, I'd never shown her Reiki or anything like that, but 12 years old, we went to a spiritual shop. She put a crystal, and like I was doing stuff with the owner, and she said, Dad, I'd come here, and she put the crystal in my hand, and she put her hands on, and it was one of the first time I got a real good, a real proper blast from somebody who wasn't one of my sifus, and it's, you're my daughter, it was and I'm always being one of these people. I say these things openly. I'm because it's about not having, if you really believe in yourself, if you really believe in the connection, if you really open up to this, there is no fear.
No,
there's no fear to it. And at the end of the day, everybody else has to catch up. I'm happy. I'm sending out that chi. I'll help everybody who wants to learn. I'll teach whatever, however much they want to know. My problem is if you come with a half-pint cup, I normally pour 15 gallons into your cup. I tend to, as Fred knows, and actually, as you all know, I tend to talk for England or any other planet, actually, because there's just so much there. There's so much to give. And it's there. It's as you said, they're all there waiting for you. Yeah. There's an ancient saying, the sifus are everything and everyone is your sifu. It's all there. It's desperately trying to talk to you. Synchronicities, it's the universe trying to talk to you. Having something pop up in your head, something trying to talk to you. Synchronicities, the queen of synchronicities over there, Agent 35. We've been having fun where even recently, like I'll say something or post something. Oh my god! Is this? Oh my god, that is. Yeah. She's getting one of those moments. She's having one of her moments. So, but it's all good. But anyway, enough of me taking the mickey. Another question, please, from somebody.
Well, I have now this might be a slight curveball question, and I'm asking it partly because it's a conversation that I've had, and I'm always full of questions and full of answers or potential ideas, and this is one I haven't actually nailed yet. So you might be able to see behind me, actually, there's like stacks of angel tarot cards, and they're all over my desk as well. Now, the question I've been kind of mulling over is, because people are saying, why don't you teach it? I'd love to learn from you. I love the way you read. It's always so accurate. And I'm saying, look, anybody can do it, and you can probably do it with playing cards. However, one of the things that have made me go, I'm not sure about teaching this, is because, let's just say, if I taught NLP, then I could certify people through the ANLP. Or if I taught, I don't know, timeline therapy or hypnosis, there are awarding bodies for that. But the question that popped into my head was, there's no Archangel Awards body in the sky. So how do you know that this stuff is real and just not a glorious figment of the imagination? And I totally believe it's real, because I wouldn't have so many cards. But to make, it's not tangible. It's not that there isn't an Archangel Michael certification body. So if I gave someone a certificate, who would certify it? So how do you, the tangibility? Because, Robbie One had said about, he said at some point, this is real. And he talked about the franchises where people have now gone off and created their own stuff. So when we come down to it, how do we know that the archangels are real? How do we know that the ascended masters are real? How do we know any of it is real, or it could be just a glorious figment of our imagination?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and it takes time. And I said, first of all, I was a Reiki master, and that was my first experience when I channeled Dr. Usui and Dr. Hayashi. And first of all, you do question yourself. I would think, is this right? I'm not sure about this. And I would write it down, and then I would get it. I would question it with my mind. But then as I was questioning it, in time, it would come in, and I knew it was separate to my mind thoughts. And I could feel it also. And then I could see them. And it takes time to open up. So at first, when you're first doing it, I would say don't trust it straight away. You've got to question it. And it's only through keep doing it, keep meditating. And when someone speaks to you, make note and then keep doing it. And in time, as you open up more, that energy becomes clearer. I get it in my right ear. They seem to come to the right side of me, and I feel it. I feel it around my crown chakra. I feel as if they're stood next to me, and if you're like whispering in my ear. And it's through just practice I know the difference between my mind and hearing them, and it's practice. Because at first your mind's going, and it's the ego, oh, this is rubbish, don't listen to that. That's rubbish. So it does take time. I would say, because I first did Reiki in 1997, so it would be a full year of practicing with the meditations and listening to what I was getting and opening up further, and then becoming a Reiki master. And then when I saw Dr. Usui, and I could see him talking to me, and it just takes time to open up.
There are scientific arguments within this point as well.
Well, of course there are. But there's always an argument. But the thing is, unless you've experienced it, you've got to experience it. Because what Hilarion calls the ego, he calls it a shadow. And this shadow dulls all your senses. And it's also very negative. And it will tell you you're wrong, and it doesn't want you to move forward. So you do question it, but in meditation, and I go the way of Christ, and with prayer, I can feel I'm in a good place. I know what I hear, I know what I feel, and that's all I can say. And if people don't believe, that's fine. I can't prove it.
I would add to that as well. I think it's vital.
There are logical, physiological proofs of what's going on. If you look at things from a basic point, if you take a body apart, molecule by molecule, we're advanced enough to do that now, right? They can't find the bit that makes you alive, right? Can't find the bit that makes you, me, Roberta, her, right? Now, so we're looking at something that isn't actually physical, but energy-based. This is logical. This is not,
we're all energy. Everything's energy.
Exactly. This is not spiritual belief. This is not religion. This is basic physics. Basic physics, right?
Yeah.
Now, energy cannot be destroyed. You can convert energy from one form to another. So if you put a kilowatt of electricity into a light bulb, you'll get exactly a kilowatt of heat and light out of it. No more, no less. Right? So the bit that makes you you obviously cannot be physically based. We can prove that logically. Therefore, it's energy based. So when you die, that energy cannot just disappear. It still exists within a realm. And this is where I would suggest that what people think of as the spirit realm is people without bodies. You're still you. You've always been you. Nobody here, anybody listening tonight, do you ever feel older on your next birthday than you ever did?
No.
Never do. It's a constant, right? And that energy is a constant. What we're doing is ritual. Ritual is any action or group of actions designed to bring about a certain state of mind, a certain state of perception. Prayer brings about a quieting state. Meditation brings about a quieting state. Practice. Our brains are physiological. They're physical things. But you can actually read the physiological output of the brain, an electroencephalogram, for instance, right? We can't understand them, what it's saying, but we do understand that energy is produced. Now, that energy is connected because it cannot not be. There is no energy works that way. So we're all interconnected by that energy link. Being a medium is a matter of practicing in the same way that a person who wants to train for a marathon practices, or I practice within the Qigong to be able to learn, right? What you're doing is you're actually making yourself used to being able to conduct this energy through you.
You're trying to get past the mind as well. Yeah.
Because that's the problem. We're stuck in a body with a chemical calculator, basically the brain, which is affected by anything from chemicals, what we've eaten, what we drank, anything can affect what's going on with the chemical calculator. So we're actually getting two pictures at the same time. And that's where the difficulty and the confusion occurs. By meditation, by slowing down the mind, by focusing the attention, you make yourself more receptive to energy around you. Now, that's not just around you within what's termed the spirit world, but this is also energy around you from everybody. It cannot not be interconnected. If you, as I say, you can read this on an ECG. Whether you can understand it or not is irrelevant. You can actually read the effects, right? Now, we also can physiologically. Now, this is about proof. This is not about religious belief. This is not about religious doctrine. Doctrine was developed predominantly to control people. 400 years after the birth of Christ, they all got together and divided the world up into, you're going to be a Catholic, you're going to be Buddhist, you're going to be Muslim, etc. Right? Now, that's just a means of control. The ultimate big stick. Do as you're told, or God will punish you. Right? Now, no, it's nothing about punishment. It's not about punishment. It's about self-development. Doing things that bring you confusion, doing things that bring you doubt, that bring you blockages within the physical mind will obviously affect your ability to channel energy. And that's what it comes down to. Qigong, energy exercise. Right? You're practicing to be able to conduct energy through you. Now, spirit is just, logically, therefore, spirit is just people without bodies. Now, the problem is that we couldn't, if we could actually just see that as it is, we wouldn't be able to tell one spirit from another because we're just energy, pillars of light. Right? So they're able, your spirit world are able to produce a physical production that resounds within you. So, for instance, I see my dad's worked with me for many years as a practitioner. He's given me an ability beyond what I could have learned physically within this time frame. Time is another thing. Time does not exist within
No.
the energy world.
No.
So these things all are technically all happening at the same time. And time is just an illusion that we use to define the difference between, the difference between knowing or not knowing. You go to school, you go to college, you learn something. But when you actually know it, that is an instantaneous change. It doesn't matter. And that's where energy comes into it. And frequency of energy, frequency of magnetic fields, frequency of all energy vibrates at a specific frequency. Spiritualists, I'm a member of a spiritualist group. I run actually a development circle myself. All you're doing is you're practicing conducting energy through this physical form.
Yeah, but having a nice ritual, sort of going by the way of Christ or Buddha or whatever, helps you to get past the mind that we have. It just helps you do that. And it just makes you feel good.
Ritual is any action that's carried out to bring about a certain state of mind.
Yes.
Now, we can prove energy affects matter. We can prove with quantum physics that by looking at the passage of a basic atom, by looking at the passage of it, you actually change the condition. This is what you can't, with respect to quantum physics, you can't actually tell the exact place or the exact direction of something. The more you zoom into it, the more inaccurate you become.
They say it moves
what you view,
time, doesn't it?
therefore,
it moves.
what you view affects matter.
Yeah.
How you think, therefore, which is
affects
an energy,
matter.
which we get, affects matter. And this is where the healing point comes in.
Yeah.
By focusing on attention, by bringing energy through, you can increase a healing factor. In the same way as you can use it as you wish. Energy is not negative or positive. Energy is energy. How you use it is negative actions. Negative actions cause confusion. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah, these are not rules. These are bloody good advice. You do this, you're gonna bugger up what's going on in your head. You bugger up, you affect what's going on in your head. You affect your ability to be able to channel energy, to be able to receive the energy, to be able to interpret the energy that's around you, the energy from spirit, the energy from the universe, the energy from the person next door. It's all interconnected. And
indeed,
as I say, this is not a religious thing. This is scientific. This is perfectly logically explained. And I think that's an important point to point out on this show, because people will look at it and say, "Oh, you're all God belief and Jesus Christ, etc., etc., etc." No, Jesus Christ existed on this planet, therefore he's an energy entity. Boom, boom. So you can channel, Jesus Christ if you can practice shutting out confusion by practicing a ritual to bring about a state of being. Energy affects matter. And we know that. That's not belief, that's not religious, that is fact. Right?
But belief is important as well, especially for the wider everybody. Belief is important because what we believe, what stories we tell each other, what is the narrative of a society is very important. Do you know what I mean? And coming back to the tangibility of what does that mean? Archangel Michael, what does that mean? Archangel Zadkiel, what does that mean? What's the tangible energy of what that person is, or what that energy is, or like what makes me? I'm not really anything. I'm Robbie McKenzie. I have a backstory. It's like Jim Carrey was coming out with it. We're all swirling tetrahedrons. This is just a story. This is just a story that I've been told and that I've believed in, that I've identified with. I'm a Scottish guy. That Scotland's a real place, that's just an amalgamation of different beliefs, and our beliefs are important, and they evolve. And it's like you say, the tangibility of what does that mean? Because we anthropomorphize things in our heads to explain the unexplainable. We make it a real thing so that we can identify with it, so that it can be of value for us. So it's not just about Archangel Michael, because I look on it more as it's an office. Like with Metatron, with the Christ, with Michael, with whatever it is, it's an office. It's a point of your consciousness that you can attain to. And one person channeling Archangel Michael will say something different than another person channeling Archangel Michael, because they're coming through a different set of filters. Do you know what I mean? So
yes, that's the problem with the physical
what
body.
story you believe stances from your upbringing, from where you were born in the world, from what your heritage is or what you identify with, is everybody's going to have a different experience of that. But everybody, it's like Michael is the protector, is the cutter of cords, is that principle. It's the energy that's there, and you can say, well, but I want the real Archangel Michael, though, you know. But your real Archangel Michael is going to be different from my real Archangel Michael. Is going to be different from my Metatron. Do you know what I mean? But it's the same office. It has the same energy that you can tap into as a divine sovereign being.
Yeah, this is it. We each have different perceptions, and this is where perception comes in. The world is a product of what you perceive it to be. This is proved on a quantum level, right? Therefore, you affect the things around you. And by calming yourself, by bringing in energy of a calming nature, your perception can improve. You can change you can change me, you can change the world around you. And this is totally true. I mean, Boggie will tell you about CIA using using 100 people all perceiving the same thing and calming out a certain area, a whole area of crime. Group perception, and that's the thing. We're all part of a group perception. The problem is we're all trying to individualize ourselves. We're all trying to look after our own little pile. It doesn't work that way. By working with people, by joining with energy, by working within the same direction, within the same perception, you can change everything from a cell in a person's body to the world. And there is no impossible, simply because the world is a product of what you perceive it to be. And this is provable.
And that's what we're all here for. That's what we're all here for. So we shine our light. Shine our love.
That's
You got your lightsaber?
That's it.
Oh, sorry, is that just me? Oh, sorry. Oh, well. Right, Robbie 2, the wonderful Robbie. Are you doing another book?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is this book about? I am
It's a continuation of well, the work from the first book with the Ascended Master Hilarion. So it's a continuation. I'm only on to chapter 3. So
I should warn you. That a certain other guest that we will not mention names. We spent half the show talking about his new book.
Yeah,
and it was almost like you don't need to buy it. You just
we know it,
and you'll hear the story. But it's...
I know Robbie's second book. I know about that one. But yeah, it's a continuation.
Why do you think it's taking so long, Boggie? I'm having to rewrite it now.
Yeah. That bit was in the show. Get rid of that. That bit was in the show. Get rid of that. That bit was in the show. So no, it's all good. It's all good. It's like practice.
Yeah.
You know, the whole point of and the point is when you want, you know, if you can't help say it, it needs to be out there. And the whole point of it being out there, to be honest, it being out, you talking about it on the show, just intrigues people even more to actually want to get the book, because there will be things you can't express technically, or the way you say it in verbal will be different. Somebody will receive it better than necessarily on the book.
Exactly. That's exactly the whole thing about frequency, because what you give, another person won't be able to receive that. Do you know what I mean? You're a light for a reason. Because not everybody's going to go with that path or this path or the Buddhist path or the Christian path or whatever path it is. It will be their own filters that lead them through excitement, through interest, through synchronicity, through whatever it is, through an angel pack, through some meeting somebody, through whatever it is. And how you identify with that and shine the light upon that will be and is relevant for your own particular audience, that will to your light.
Yeah.
So each different person that is opening up just now, and there are so many. There are so many that are waiting in the wings, and there's so many that are opening up. And I've new people, especially this year, especially like last year and this year, so many people just getting an interest, you know, just going, well, what does that mean? What's that therapy? What does that mean? What's this? What is that? And the dogmatism doesn't hold sway for any particular thing. It's the light, it's the authenticity, it's the genuine want to help, it's the love that is the frequency. And the way that all of these things are explained will be personal to you, but they will resonate with somebody, you know? So, yeah.
Indeed. And I was saying, and I could say this saying 15 years ago, and boy, could I get in trouble. And the saying is, like with the yin and the yang, there is no good, there is no bad, there just is.
It just is, yeah.
You know, everything is there, and you know, you know, you can perceive something as bad. I mean, how many? This is the question for you know, people I've always asked is something that you considered bad. Has it brought good things out in the future? If the answer is yes, then how bad
there is no bad.
Cause and effect. There is cause and effect. There's no different religions, different belief systems say what's right or say what's wrong. But at the end of the day, it is the basis of cause and effect. If you create an effect which creates a fearful or a blocked off a situation, you're obviously creating something negative. If you create a situation, as this show is doing, whereby you're trying to create a positive perception, then the result of that can only be a positive effect. And everything is cause and effect. Everything is ritual. Everything is to bring us nearer to seeing what we really are.
And that's the whole point of the universe and the whole point of cosmic laws.
Finding the self.
Yeah, finding yourself. And like I said, when I had that the Hebrew version of the Old Testament translated to me, it also talked about the tally. They talked about the tally, and so what's this thing about the tally? And the tally was their way, basically, you know, it's weights and measures, and basically they were talking about karma. It was talking about, in the Old Testament, they talked about the natural karma, that when you put something out, you get it back in equal measure. And there, you know, it's not, you know, when people use the word karma, oh, you know, it's your past lives, or it's, you know, you've been bad. Karma is karma. Is that whatever you put out, and there is always a balance.
Yeah.
And up and the bigger the up, the bigger the down, and that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Okay, right. So, the wonderful Marilyn is probably hungry, but she's been quiet for quite some time. Is there a question? Is there something whirring around in the wonderful agent?
I wanted to say, if you're going to be cutting the show and doing it in two halves, you've had just over an hour. I know time is not a real concept, but I know that you have a time for your podcast. I don't know if you wanted to do your cut, or are you just going to go?
I think we'll just go with the flow, because if we do another hour, you'll be eating at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be going straight to work, and nobody will be getting any sleep. So I mean, unless people, we'll keep it for a little bit longer, but you know, we'll wrap it up for in about 5 minutes. So I just sort of get any other questions or any other statements, and then I mean, unless you want to keep going.
Oh no, it's fine, because I know you like to do it in two halves. So you'll have part 1 and part 2, and your break point is normally this hour.
Yeah,
I'll have to go.
So. Yeah, I'm going to have to go as well, because I am.
No,
it's been wonderful. It's been lovely, and it's been like old times again. You know, everybody, back again. You know, it's been lovely, and it's been lovely seeing you all, and it's lovely having you on the show, Robbie, as well.
Thank you,
Marilyn. You know, and nice to see you, Fred. You know, and Boggie, of course. You know, but yeah, no, I think it's always all leads back to the same place when we discuss this. You know, and I think that's understanding these fundamentals and explaining them in different ways from different perspectives, from different people, from different understandings and different traditions are all really, really important, I think, you know. And I always feel that energy of expansion after the show, and I've got that again just now. So thank you very much for it, everybody. It's been lovely.
Thank you, Robbie.
Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie, too.
Robbie One Kenobi. That's your new. That's another name for you I got now. Robbie One Kenobi. So Fred, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, just yeah. I mean, this is the base of what we're looking at. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to bring this knowledge. We're all trying to bring this understanding, this peace, this calm to the people around us, and that's what we have to do. Roberta, with your book, Robbie, you, all of you, this is what you're here to do. We're trying to bring a state of perception whereby we are clear of the confusion that our physical bodies brings upon us.
Yeah.
And practicing that there is only one thing. We are all kept. We're all God. We're all parts of the same. God is one. God was single. The illusion of separation is to bring about interaction, which is what we're doing, interacting. Because if you're one, you can't interact.
That's it.
You have to have, it's a state of perception. There, that looks like 4 separate fingers. Look from there, it's all connected to the same hand. And that's basically what's going on. And thank you, Boggie. It's been really good. And I hope to come back soon, actually. All right. And all of you, God bless.
Thank you. And Marilyn, is there anything you'd like to say? Any
well,
comments?
I've got to close with a bit of synchronicity now, of course.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Because I've had this exact conversation today. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I've folded it down so I won't show you the client's name, but we were doing a soul plan today.
Right.
And it's very much the one in the center. There's something called soul destiny in the center, which is like a squiggle. And that's about bringing down the creative energy from the divine. We were talking about the whole thing about at the center of all of this. It's about the radiating of love and being of service and finding your way. And the 9-9, which is kind of the steely serpent, is the whole thing about being at one with the universe, being plugged into the universe. And I was explaining to my client that in order to have that energy really flow, you want to be a clear channel.
Yeah.
So, you know, chakras in alignment.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all the limiting beliefs and all the stuff that confuses your mind, and then getting back to that thing that is true, you know, for you. And the soul message for them was that you are one of this and the same. It was just, but seriously, just listening to you all and kind of, it's like, had exactly this conversation about 4 hours ago. So it's you know, lovely to be, you know, always with a group of wonderful people. I know we all have very different backgrounds, but I think this conversation itself is a reminder that there is still this wonderful thing that connects us all as human beings. So Roberta, lovely to hear from you. Robbie, number one, lovely to speak to you. Fred, really nice to connect with you again. And, you know, Boggie, thank you for holding the space.
Well, it's a good space to hold. And surprise, surprise, there is a Merkaba on your page. Well, there she goes. There's she blown. Who would have thought it? Indeed, that as well. So Roberta, I mean, is there anything else, you know, is there anything else you would like to say before we go off air?
No, I really enjoyed it, and thank you to everybody too. And I just wanted to say, with my work, it's not saying to people, you do it this way. It's saying, this has been my experience, and I've learned this. And Ascended Master Hilarion said to me, the right ones will, you know, be attracted to the work. Because, as I say, it's about helping people find their way. Do it your way.
Like attracts like.
I like it. So, but that's, you know, the way is a joke. The way of conscious mindfulness, the way bit, my company name, the way of, is actually a joke.
Your way.
It's the translation of the word Tao. The Tao is the way, the path, the balance. And And you know, it's one of the things I throw out there. You always hear me say, everyone and everything is your sifu. There are so many people you can learn from. There are so many different styles. Look, there's what, there's five different versions here, 5 different styles, and that's the point. You know, that's the, I think the biggest point of, you know, this, you know, the golden age was apparently a mistranslation. It's golden race. The golden race are coming, and we are that golden race, where we actually start to peel away some of that past illusion. We start to reveal the finger, we reveal the hand, we reveal that we are all interconnected. You know, you have 8 people here, but hold up, they're all one. You know, and that's the point. You know, we're all one, and it's, you know, it is the matrix. We are here in Taoism. They call it the dream, and it was the Kusky, is it, who did the matrix. They actually, you know, they looked at the Taoism and looked at that. You know, I say it 1 billion times. The word Jedi comes from the Egyptian philosophy. D-Jedi, the D is the key part of the pillar of light. We are the pillars of light. We keep that knowledge, and light shines, and when it shines, it affects, it scares away the darkness, and it lights other people up, and that's the point. That's what we're here to do. You know, is to spread that light. However, you know, there is no right or wrong. Whatever flavour works best for you, whatever, you know, whatever ice cream is best for you, eat to your heart's content. I shouldn't say that. I'll probably make Marilyn even more hungry. But, you know, whatever flavour, whatever foods you desire, eat, dear princess, eat. Enjoy food, you know, enjoy life, enjoy food. You know, there's no, the bigger the up, the bigger the down. You know, that's the cycle. That's the hammer. So, right, okay. So, yes, live long and prosper.
I'm the same.
Good. So it's years by the way.
Boggie, may the force be with you.
And you, young Jedi. And you. So actually, some say I look like Yoda, but I talk like Yoda. I do. Yeah. Yoda, I talk.
So
I do.
You are the one, are you?
No, you're the one. You're the one, and you are. Everyone's the one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you, audience.
Thank you.
I hope the audience doesn't need a migraine tablet, or maybe they need a pillow. Maybe they need
a tranquilizer.
Yeah, indeed. Boy, you don't know what chaos we did before the show. You think this is mental? You should have seen the warm up. But anyway, so what I'd like to say is thank you so much to Roberta. It has been an awesome show. Thank you so much. You know, thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to reading your book, and I'm really looking forward to reading your next book.
Thank you.
So, and maybe we can do another show in the future and have you on.
We haven't spoke about the Arcturians. That was interesting. Maybe that one on the second one.
Well, yeah. Oh, I love the Arcturians. Or maybe you and I would do a private conversation, and then the audience will have to plead for me to record it. Maybe I don't know, but I would love to have a conversation with you about that. So maybe we'll have to arrange on. Or actually, maybe Marilyn. Well, actually, all of people here may want to also be part of that conversation. But we'll talk about that later. So thank you very much, as always, Roberta 1 Kenobi. Thank you so much, young Jedi. And I'd also like to thank Agent 27 for a wonderful show yet again. She's starving. She'll be wasting away soon because we keep her on the show for so long, because I glue her to her seat and then she doesn't eat at all and she wastes away. Poor lass. And then thank you finally to the great mighty backman, that is Fred Bleach. He's the backman.
I got to see for.
Hey, you know what? So, audience, take care. Now, we do have a really awesome guest for next week, but I don't know who it is because the person who's arranged that awesome guest, who's told me there's a really awesome guest, is sitting there smug with a nice big grin, and I'm not sure if she wants to tell us yet, or we're just going to find out next week.
Well, what I will say is, and I'm going to give you a choice because I've got three or four for you to choose from. I know who I would go for, but I'm going to let you choose because I know you have very good intuition. But one of the ones that I'm thinking of has been a clairvoyant, natural born clairvoyant and psychic since she was 3 years old. And she's now in her 60s. Also a coach and a dance instructor, a really, really eclectic, wonderful mix. The next person I've got you to choose from is, he must be in his 80s now. He's written several wonderful books, very, very interesting character. And I've just, somebody else who is very much into how to spread the love in terms of working with the energy field in the chakras. And I think I've just seen another one pop up. So I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to send them all to you. I'm going to tell you who I would choose and the reasons why. However, I'm going to leave it to you to decide who you would like to have on the show from those choices.
Okay. Well, what I might actually do, I'll only give them about 24 hours because I wouldn't want to keep everybody in suspense. But we'll talk about it. But I might actually put who they are or what they do, at least what they do, as a post on the Way of Conscious Mindfulness fan page, and see if people want to pick. Is that okay with you, Marilyn?
Absolutely. It's your show. It's your show. I said
no. It's our show. It's our show. I'm a co-host. I had an argument with somebody about this once. It's not my show. It's our show. But anyway, I digress. So, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Take care. It will end up as a podcast, and it'll be released on podcast. It's only about an hour-ish. It's a bit of mayhem. It's been great fun, but there's been some awesome information in there. I hope you enjoyed it. Love, Chi, and Chen from the Way of Conscious Mindfulness.